All right, let's talk about something that affects millions and millions of people, but is so often misunderstood. We're going to go way beyond the surface of eczema today to really understand why it's not just a skin condition, but actually a signal of deep internal inflammation. And most importantly, what we can actually do about it. It always starts with an itch, doesn't it? And not just any old itch, but that deep, nagging, kind of maddening one that you just can't ignore. And that's exactly where the whole cycle kicks off. But what if that itch, that redness and that raw inflammation on your skin, what if it isn't really a skin problem at all? What if it's your body trying to tell you something? We're going to explore how eczema is this complex thing involving your entire system, and it's sending a really clear message that something deeper is out of balance. And this is not some niche issue we're talking about. According to the World Health Organization, eczema is a global problem. It affects up to 20% of kids and 3% of adults. So if this is part of your life, believe me, you are so far from being alone. Okay, so to understand what's going wrong, we first got to appreciate what happens when things are going right. Think of your skin barrier like a perfectly built fortress wall. It's got two super important jobs. Keep all the good stuff, like moisture, locked inside, and keep all the bad stuff, like allergens and germs, locked out. Now, in eczema, that strong fortress wall, well, it's full of gaps. It's leaky. A lot of the time, this comes down to genetics affecting a key protein called filaggrin. You can think of filaggrin as the mortar between the bricks of our skin cells. And without enough of it, that wall just isn't strong. Moisture gets out, and all sorts of irritants get in. And that leaky barrier is what kicks off this incredibly frustrating, vicious feedback loop. It's the real reason why just telling someone with eczema to stop scratching, well, it's not just unhelpful, it completely ignores the complex biology that's driving the whole thing. It's kind of wild how each step just fuels the next one. So the leaky barrier lets irritants sneak in, and that triggers your immune system. That immune response is inflammation, which causes that intense, gotta scratch it now itch. But then scratching damages the barrier even more, which lets more irritants in, which creates more inflammation, and it just goes around and around and around. Of course, there are plenty of external triggers that can pour gasoline on this fire. They can be anything from stuff in the environment, like pollen, to things your skin touches, like certain soaps, and even your own stress levels. Now, triggers are super individual, which is why keeping a little symptom diary can be a total game changer for figuring out what yours are. So this brings us to the most important question of all. If we're only patching up that barrier from the outside with creams and lotions, we're not solving the root problem, are we? We have to ask, where is this inflammation really coming from? And the answer? It might surprise you. Well, according to a ton of growing scientific evidence, the answer lies deep inside our bodies. We're about to explore what might just be the missing piece of the puzzle for so many people, the deep, direct connection between your gut and your skin. This is what's called the gut-skin axis, and you can think of it like a biochemical hotline, a constant two-way chat between the trillions of little microbes living in your gut and your body's biggest organ, your skin. Basically, the health of your gut community has a direct say in the level of inflammation happening in your skin. So when that community of microbes in your gut gets all out of whack, that's a state called dysbiosis, it can actually cause your gut lining to get leaky too. This lets these inflammatory molecules escape into your bloodstream and travel all over your body. And for people who are prone to eczema, those signals show up loud and clear right on the skin. But this is where the story pivots. This is where we shift from the problem to the solution. Because if the inflammation is starting from the inside, then the solution has to start from the inside too. We can literally use food to give our bodies the raw materials they need to calm down the immune system and rebuild our skin barrier from the inside out. This chart right here explains so much of the problem. It's showing the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. Now, you need both, but omega-6s tend to promote inflammation, while omega-3s fight it. The ideal, healthy ratio is about 4-to-1. But the typical Western diet, full of processed foods and vegetable oils, that can push the ratio all the way to 15-to-1 or even higher. That creates a constant simmering state of inflammation, so fixing this balance is a huge first step. And hey, it's not just about omegas. Your body needs a whole toolkit of nutrients to do this job. Think of those omega-3s as the anti-inflammatory firefighters. Zinc is like the construction worker, absolutely essential for healing. Vitamin C and E, They're your protectors, powerful antioxidants that defend against damage. Polyphenols from colorful plants, they're like backup. And probiotics from fermented foods help bring in more of the good guys to your gut, calming the whole system down from the source. So what does this actually look like on your plate? It's really about a simple shift. On one side, we lean into all these amazing anti-inflammatory foods, colorful veggies, oily fish, fermented goodies. And on the other side, we just try to limit the things that we know can fuel that fire, like ultra-processed foods, lots of refined sugar, and alcohol. Supporting that gut-skin axis doesn't have to be some complicated, overwhelming thing. It really just comes down to simple, consistent habits. Try to get variety. Eating over 30 different plants a week is an awesome goal for your gut microbes. Include some fermented foods. Make sure you're getting enough fiber. And manage that stress. Every single one of these things directly nourishes that vital connection. I want to leave you with this really powerful idea from the source material that just says it all. Every meal is an opportunity to either support or undermine your skin. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Every single meal is a choice. It's like making a deposit into your skin health account. We have covered a lot of ground today, but this is really just the beginning of the conversation. Think of this explainer as your starter map for a whole new journey, a journey towards truly understanding and nourishing your skin from within. The insights and strategies we've talked about today are all based on the book, The Eczema Relief Kitchen. It goes into so much more detail with meal plans and recipes that really bring this science to life. You can find out more about it at NatraMed.co. And as a next step for you on your journey, we wanted to offer you something really valuable. Just comment the word eczema below, and we'll send you a free herbal wellness protocol. It's valued at £35 to help you continue this important work. If you found this explainer helpful, please let us know by liking and subscribing. Your feedback really does help us figure out what complex topics to break down next. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you for the next explainer.